Let's do this. We're here. This is real. This is the second episode of Sweet Vegan Spills the Tea, which means it's real. And today's episode is about vitamins and supplements and who should take them. So I've been looking forward to doing this subject because it's one of the first things and most common things that people come to me with in a workshop, or when I'm working with a new client, or even when people just message me with questions about upping their nutrition. So they often ask me, should I take a multivitamin? Is the multivitamin that I'm taking the right one? And can you recommend a better one? My answer is the same to all three of those questions, and it is no. I, generally speaking, don't recommend that anyone take a multivitamin, generally speaking. And there's two reasons for that. One is, if you are eating a healthy, well-balanced diet, you should be getting pretty much all the vitamins and minerals that you need from the food that you are eating. First. The second reason is that if you are low in something, the chances that you are also low in all of the other things that are in that multivitamin are probably pretty low. And the chances that the dosage that's in a multivitamin is the exact dosage that you need to bring you up to the right level is also pretty slim. It's not very customized. It's a very general vitamin or combination of vitamins. So those are the reasons. In addition to that, you should also keep in mind the fact that some vitamins in excess amounts are more harmful than good for you. So that's important too. You might be low in iron, but you're getting way too much vitamin E. And vitamin E in like excessive amounts can interfere with your body potentially being able to clot your blood. So that's not helpful if you cut yourself or get blood tests, because we don't want you bleeding, obviously. If you were, I don't know, low in B vitamins, but you had a ton of iron, maybe even a bit too much iron, and then you're piling more iron onto that, that can do a number on your gastrointestinal system, which we also don't want. We want your tummy to be happy and healthy. And we want your microbiome to be well balanced. So sometimes we hear that a certain vitamin or supplement is great for us, and we just take it, not knowing that we're already, well within sort of the range of where we need to be. And we're just creating more work for our body. And it doesn't need to be spending extra energy filtering out junk that it never asked for and doesn't need. It needs to be keeping you strong and supporting your immune system and good stuff like that. So unless you have been prescribed a multivitamin for a very specific reason, I would not recommend it. So that is not to say that no one should ever take a vitamin or a supplement. There are, of course, a handful of exceptions, and I'm going to dive right into them right now. The first exception would be if you have a disease, a syndrome, a disorder, or a condition, or under some kind of treatment that for any reason might make it problematic or impossible for your body to get or absorb the nutrients that it needs. Of course, you should listen to your health practitioner who has prescribed whatever it is that you need. Please, please, please. The information I'm giving right now is very general. So if you do not have a general situation, please do not take general advice. That's the first one. The second one is aging, that beautiful and magical thing that each and every one of us is doing this very second as I speak. Aging is an exception because some seniors have a harder time absorbing certain things and getting enough of certain things. So for example, some seniors don't get protein as easily as they used to. Some seniors have a hard time absorbing B12. Some seniors find it harder to stay hydrated than they used to. And while water is not a vitamin or a mineral per se, you do need it to stay alive. So please do get your 1.5 to 2 liters of water in every day, not just seniors, everyone. Unless, of course, you're super active or you live in a really hot climate, you're going to need more than that. So bump it up. I'm not telling you to drink gallons and gallons of water every day. Please don't do that. That's a terrible idea. That is not healthy either. Do not do that to your body, but do get at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water in a day. And also keep in mind that it's not just drinking water that keeps you hydrated. Your cells have to stay hydrated also. It's not just about getting water into your belly. So if your cells are damaged, that's really hard for them to do. Things that might damage your cells would include environmental toxins like pesticides and certain pollutants, also internal toxins. So if you're taking unnecessary medications, try and like dial that back. Or if you are taking antibiotics or things like that, if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, these things can be damaging to your cells. And then also anything that sort of releases electronic resonance. So if you are overexposed to your cell phone or too close to a wireless router too many hours in the day or anything like that, all of these things can contribute to damaging your cells and also inhibiting their ability to stay hydrated, which is not helpful to you. So these are just things to be mindful of as well. Okay, so the next exception is vitamin D. And yes, you can get vitamin D in some fortified foods, in some animal products, and also even from wild mushrooms that are grown actually in the wild, like in the forest, that are foraged for, not the ones that say wild mushrooms on the package, but are actually grown in some dark facility somewhere. So the wild mushrooms have some vitamin D, which is awesome, but 90% of the vitamin D that we get is from the sun. And the thing about that is we don't get as much sun as we used to. First of all, we are indoors much more than we used to be. So we're reducing the amount of time that we actually spend getting exposed to the sun. And also our environment, especially if you live in a big city, is much more polluted than it used to be. So my understanding is that pollution inhibits our absorption of the UV rays that we need in order to synthesize that vitamin D. So the more polluted of an environment you live in, the less vitamin D you're probably going to get. Same with the less time that you spend outdoors, or the darker the pigment of your skin is, or the more excess weight that you have. I just learned that that's a thing. So these are things to be mindful of. If you live in a super sunny environment where there's almost no pollution and you're outdoors all the time, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. But I do think that vitamin D is a good thing to get checked for, because if you are low, it's a simple fix. You can take a supplement for that. Usually the recommended dose for that is between 1,000 and 3,000 IU a day, with an absolute maximum of 4,000. But you shouldn't need that much anyways. But most importantly, get outside. Get outside, move your body, and get some sunshine, even if it's wintertime, unless it's like minus 2 million degrees outside, because you need it. You need the vitamin D, but you need to move your body and you need the fresh air. And I hate going outside when it's cold. I live in Montreal. It's cold here in the winter. And I went snowshoeing for the first time the other day, and it was so much fun. I had so much fun. It was, I think, the first time in my life. I do have a weird, vague memory of having a snowshoe on my foot once, but I was probably a child or dreaming. It was probably a dream. I probably dreamt it. Okay, so it was my first time in real life going snowshoeing. And I thought it was going to be much more complicated as far as like coordination goes. I was pretty sure I was going to be tripping all over myself, and I wasn't. But it was really hard work. I will say that. It was really good exercise. And my left knee has no cartilage in it. So it was very angry for about 3 days afterwards. But I would definitely tape my knee and do it again, and then ice my knee when I got home, which I didn't do and should have done. But it was fun, really fun. So get outside is what I'm saying. Get outside. Another exception would be people who are eating a plant-based diet, as I am. So there are plenty of vegans, aspiring vegans, and people who know and love and care about or have talked to or heard of a vegan, who are concerned that people who eat a plant-based diet might not be getting enough B12, calcium, or iron. So here's the thing. B12 is something that is created by a bacteria that used to be in the soil that our vegetables would grow in. So we would eat those vegetables, and then we would then get enough B12. Or people who ate animal products would eat animals that ate those vegetables, so they would get enough B12. But here's what's happening. that soil has been so compromised now with pollutants and monocropping and overtilling and, pesticides and hormones and antibiotics that literally came out of the animals that are grazing on this soil, that bacteria is being inhibited. So we are not getting enough of that. Somebody who's eating a plant-based diet absolutely needs to take a B12 supplement, no questions asked. You just need to. There are foods that are fortified with it, but I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how much nutritional yeast you're putting on your popcorn, you're probably not getting enough B12. So please absolutely get that checked and take that supplement. And if you are eating animal products, don't assume that you're getting enough B12. Unless the animal products that you're eating come from animals that have had sufficient B12 supplements themselves, there's a good chance that you're not getting enough B12 either. So do have that checked when you have your blood work done. Okay, calcium. Yes, calcium is super important. Everybody needs it. And you should not be deficient in that, even on a plant-based diet. And the reason why is because there are plenty of plant-based foods that are packed with calcium, and you can get it in beans, and you can get it in tofu and other soy products, and you can get it in certain seeds, and you can get it in greens. And there is no reason for you to not be getting enough calcium in your diet if you're eating a well-balanced plant-based diet, okay? Also, if you are getting your calcium through dairy products, here's the thing. When you consume dairy products, yes, you are getting the calcium that you need, but you're also getting a bunch of stuff that is counteracting the benefits of that calcium. So you're also getting animal proteins and natural hormones and added growth hormones, and you're potentially getting whatever antibiotics or steroids or other medications that might have been fed to that animal. Plus, you're also getting the animal fats and the cholesterol and lactose and sugar and who knows what else. So all of those things counteract the benefits of the calcium that you were getting from that dairy. So you're really better off eating a salad with some beans in it, maybe a bit of sauteed tofu. I'm just saying, if you're getting your calcium from your food, which I hope you are, there are much better sources out there than animal products. Okay. And also, again, if the reason why you're worried about your calcium is because of broken bones and bone density and whatever else, you need to get outside and move your body, because that will help too. Great. Iron. The thing about iron is it comes from many of the same places that calcium comes from. So legumes and beans, and you can get it in sesame seeds, I believe, and dried fruits, and you can get it from spirulina, and you can also get that from leafy greens. And honestly, per calorie, some leafy greens like kale have more iron in them than beef does. So keep that in mind. The next exception is pregnant women. But hang on and listen carefully, because it is not all pregnant women. Listen. First of all, pregnancy is not a pathological state. It is a physiological state. Our bodies as women were designed to be able to do this and to be able to handle the evolution of our needs throughout the pregnancy. So this very beautiful thing happens when you're pregnant. Well, many beautiful things, like babies, for example, but nutritionally speaking, this is what happens. The more pregnant you get, the more of an appetite you have. And if you're smart, the more appetite you have, the more food you will eat. And the more food that you eat, the more nutrients you get in, therefore meeting whatever nutritional needs you have evolved to have throughout your pregnancy. Isn't that beautiful? It is. It's just like when you're a little kid, you don't need as much protein as maybe when you're a 19-year-old super athletic teenager. But nature knows to make you hungry enough to eat more. Same thing. Beautiful, right? Right. The thing is, some women sometimes, in some circumstances, are more likely to be at risk of being low in vitamin D and folic acid, which is B9, and also in iron. So this doesn't mean that if you're pregnant, you should run out and take a bunch of that stuff. And it also doesn't mean that if you're planning on getting pregnant, you need to overload your body with that stuff, okay? Please don't do that. Listen carefully. It is just really important that throughout your pregnancy, from beginning to end, your doctor monitors your levels of all three of those things, among other things, obviously, but to keep a very careful eye on that. And if you do need to take supplements, please take them, because your body and the little person or people inside you need that. I also have a tip for you. If your doctor prescribes an iron supplement and you have a really hard time taking it, there is a liquid iron and herbal supplement. I'm sure there's a bunch, but the one that I took when I was pregnant was called Floridix, and you can get it at the health food store. And as long as you're mindful that you're still getting the required amount that's been prescribed to you, it's so much easier on the stomach to handle. It tastes kind of weird, but you can mix it in juice or in your smoothie if you don't like the taste of it. And it's just so much easier on the stomach. And I found it really helpful because I was not able to handle the actual supplements. So that's my hot tip for you pregnant ladies. So that pretty much wraps up almost all the exceptions. The only one left that I can think of would be if you're on a really restrictive diet. So if you do have any of the disorders or syndromes or conditions or treatments or allergies that might prevent you from getting in all the foods that you would need to get, by all means, take the vitamins and supplements that your medical practitioner has prescribed to you. It's super important that you get everything that you need into your body to make it work well. If you are on a paleo or keto type diet, which I absolutely do not recommend to anyone ever, and I would love to get into that on another episode in full detail, but not now. Please make sure you're getting enough magnesium, potassium, fiber, everything. Please maybe have your blood work done before you do it to see where you're at, and then maybe a few weeks in again, just to make sure that you're still good and that you're getting everything you need. If you're practicing intermittent fasting, just make sure that you're still getting in the calories and all of the nutrients that you need in the day, even if the time of day that you're eating it is restricted to a certain window. Make sure you're still getting everything that you need. So in summary, no, I don't think you should be taking a multivitamin, generally speaking. And no, I doubt that the multivitamin that you're taking is the right vitamin for you. And no, I won't recommend another one. I absolutely recommend that you take a B12 supplement if you are on a plant-based diet. I definitely recommend that you take whatever supplements you have been prescribed by your doctor if it is for a medical reason, or if you have proven to be deficient or low in anything. Please take care of that. And please, all of you, every single one of you, get your blood work done regularly just so you know where you're at. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I was really excited to do this episode. It means a lot to me that you were here to listen or to watch. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. If you're listening on an audio platform, you can subscribe to that too. If you liked this episode, it would mean a ton to me if you went on iTunes and left a 5-star review. It helps the podcast have more visibility. And if you want to reach out to me, please do. You can email me at sweetvegancoaching@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at _sweetvegan_. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to my website, sweetvegan.net, where I have tons of recipes that you can check out. And I have free meal plan, and I have a free digital magazine that you can subscribe to. And you can contact me through there also if you want to. So again, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it, and take really good care of yourselves. Bye.